We live in a world where women are often praised for how much they can endure, how quiet they can become, how small they can make themselves in the name of love. But I want to start by saying something loud and clear. You don't have to break yourself to be worthy of being loved. Let's talk about the 7 things women should never do for a man, not because love isn't worth fighting for, but because you should never have to fight yourself to keep it. There's a quiet, dangerous erosion that can happen in love if we're not careful. It doesn't always start with something obvious. Sometimes it begins with a small compromise that seems harmless. You skip the book club to make dinner. You stop talking about your goals because he rolls his eyes when you do. You don't wear that bold lipstick anymore because he said it was too much. Little by little, you start folding yourself into something smaller, more manageable for him. And before you know it, you're looking in the mirror wondering where you went. Let me tell you something. You don't need to disappear to be loved. You don't need to water yourself down to be digestible. A love that requires you to mute parts of yourself is not love, it's performance. And living like that is exhausting. Your identity, your voice, your passions, your weird quirks, your loud laugh, your need for quiet moments, your desire for adventure, your boundaries, all of that is sacred. It took years to become the woman you are. Every scar, every triumph, every messy chapter built you. You earned that identity. No man, no relationship, no love story is worth undoing that. You were not born to be somebody's shadow. You were born to stand in your light. And if someone loves you, truly loves you, they will want to know all of you, not the edited, curated, convenient version, the real you. Because real love doesn't require self-erasure, it invites self-expression. So ask yourself, am I becoming more of myself in this relationship or less? Do I feel seen or do I feel edited? Am I free to take up space or do I feel like I'm walking on eggshells? If you're bending so much that you're breaking, it's time to stop. You can be soft and strong. You can be loving and firm. You can care for someone deeply and still refuse to abandon yourself in the process. Your identity isn't negotiable. It's not up for debate. It's not something you put on the shelf in exchange for affection. It's the most valuable thing you own. And the right man won't be intimidated by it. He'll stand beside it, celebrate it, protect it right alongside you. You never have to apologize for being whole. And you sure as hell never have to disappear to be chosen. Would you like to go deeper on any of the other points too? Ambition in a woman can be a radical thing. Society still has this strange way of telling women in 1,000 subtle and not so subtle ways that wanting more makes us too much, too driven, too loud, too independent, too focused on our careers, too busy to be soft, too goal-oriented to be loving. But here's the truth. There is nothing unlovable about your ambition. Your dreams are not a character flaw. Your drive is not a threat. Your vision for your life, the one where you show up fully, take up space, break barriers, and do the damn thing, is not something you need to explain, defend, or apologize for. And yet so many women do. We tiptoe around our accomplishments so we don't seem intimidating. We downplay our goals so we don't emasculate anyone. We put our dreams on the back burner because someone told us that being successful and being loved are somehow mutually exclusive. Let's set the record straight. Ambition and love are not enemies. A woman can build empires and build a home. A woman can raise her voice and raise a family. A woman can lead the meeting and still be soft, vulnerable, nurturing, kind. You don't have to choose between power and partnership. But if someone ever makes you feel like you do, that's not partnership. That's control wrapped in insecurity. A secure man will not be shaken by your ambition. He will be inspired by it. He will stand beside you, not in front of you, trying to block the view. He will cheer for you in rooms where you're not even present. He will not ask you to dim your light so he can feel more visible. And listen, ambition isn't just about climbing ladders or chasing titles. It's also the fire that burns in you to create a life that feels like your own. It's the desire to make an impact, to live intentionally, to make your life mean something beyond someone else's expectations. You have every right to dream big. You have every right to want more. You have every right to pursue those wants with tenacity, hunger, and joy. That's not selfish, that's self-honoring. So never let anyone convince you that ambition makes you less feminine, less lovable, or less wifey material. Ambition is not the opposite of intimacy. You can be soft and strong, gentle and fierce, grounded and reaching all at the same time. Your goals are valid, your purpose matters, and the right person, he won't make you choose between love and your calling. He'll know that when you're fully yourself, when you're lit up from within, that's when you have the most love to give. So don't apologize, don't shrink, don't make yourself small. You weren't born to play backup in your own life story. Let's get something clear from the beginning. Love is not supposed to hurt you. It's not supposed to confuse you, belittle you, or leave you questioning your worth. Real love doesn't come dressed in sarcasm, silent treatments, or backhanded compliments. It doesn't make you feel small to make someone else feel powerful. But the tricky thing is, disrespect doesn't always show up waving red flags. Sometimes it shows up with flowers in one hand and control in the other. It can sound like, I'm only saying this because I care. It can look like jealousy masquerading as protection. It can feel like walking on eggshells, but calling it passion, and before you realize what's happening, you're justifying pain because it came wrapped in affection. Let's be brave enough to name this for what it is. Disrespect is not love. If he talks down to you in public and calls it just joking, if he invalidates your feelings and tells you you're too sensitive, if he blames his outbursts on you saying, you made him act that way, that's not love, that's emotional manipulation. And here's where it gets even more painful. Sometimes the person who is hurting you says, I love you in the same breath. And we want to believe it because we're wired for connection, because we want to hold on to the good moments, because we think that if we're just more patient, more understanding, more forgiving, it'll stop. But love that only shows up when you're quiet, compliant, or in pain, that's not love. That's control. That's fear. That's not yours to carry. You deserve love that sees you, respects you, and never asks you to justify being mistreated. You don't have to earn someone's kindness. You don't have to trade your dignity for companionship. You don't have to stay where you're being emotionally starved just to say you're not alone. And hear this clearly, boundaries are not rejection. They're protection. Setting a boundary and saying, I won't accept this, isn't unloving. It's the most loving thing you can do for yourself and for the relationship. Because without respect, there is no love. There is only power play. Respect should be the foundation, not the favor. You shouldn't have to remind someone to speak to you kindly. You shouldn't have to beg for your emotions to be taken seriously. You shouldn't have to choose between being true to yourself and being treated decently. Love that costs you your peace, your voice, your self-worth, that's not love. That's a lesson. And you are allowed to outgrow it. So here's your permission slip, though you never needed one, to walk away from anything that makes you feel like you're hard to love. You are not. You are not too much. You are not too emotional. You are not too needy. You are a human being with needs, with feelings, with value, the kind of love that lasts, that lifts you up, that grows with you. It never asks you to tolerate being torn down. So promise yourself this: never again will you confuse pain for passion. Never again will you excuse cruelty just because it followed an I love you. Never again will you call something love when it feels like survival, because the moment you recognize your worth, that's the moment you stop settling for anything less than respect, tenderness, and truth. There's a quiet kind of burnout that happens when you're always the strong one in the relationship, the one who holds space, the one who listens, supports, fixes, reassures, the one who becomes his emotional compass, his safe place, his therapist, his anchor, while your own needs stay buried under the weight of his. Let's call it what it is, emotional labor. And too often, women are expected to carry all of it, silently, selflessly, endlessly. Now listen, love does mean showing up. It means being present through the hard days. It means holding space when your partner is struggling. It means being someone he can lean on, but not someone he leans entirely on. There's a difference between being supportive and being someone's emotional dumping ground. You are not his therapist. You are not his rehab center. You are not responsible for healing wounds that were there long before you arrived. If every conversation revolves around his stress, his past, his fears, if you're constantly managing his moods, his triggers, his silence, if you've become the emotional glue, keeping things from falling apart, that's not balance, that's emotional exhaustion. And here's the painful part. Sometimes we tell ourselves that's love, that it's noble, that if we're just patient enough, nurturing enough, calm enough, he'll finally feel safe enough to do the work himself. But here's the truth that hurts before it heals. You can't do the work for him. You can't heal what he won't even admit is broken. You can't be the reason he finally confronts his childhood trauma. You can't make him emotionally available if he's chosen to stay shut down. That's his work. And real partnership, it means both people doing their emotional labor. It means taking responsibility for your own healing. It means not using your partner as a shield from your own self-awareness. It means saying, I love you, but I also love myself enough not to carry what's not mine. You deserve to be heard too. You deserve to be held too. Your emotions matter just as much. Your needs are not a burden. They are a part of the relationship. If you're constantly tending to someone else's storm and never allowed to name your own rain, that's not intimacy, that's imbalance. And over time, that imbalance will leave you emotionally bankrupt. Here's what love looks like. He's willing to do his own work. He's able to sit in discomfort without making it your job to fix it. He's emotionally curious, not just emotionally needy. He sees your boundaries not as rejection, but as part of healthy connection. Being a safe space for someone is beautiful, but you can't be the whole house. You can't build a life with someone who refuses to pick up a single tool. So ask yourself, do I feel emotionally safe in this relationship or just emotionally responsible? Am I being met or am I constantly giving? Because partnership is not about carrying each other. It's about walking beside each other. And the moment you start carrying all the weight alone, you're not in a relationship. You're in a one-woman rescue mission. So let this be your reminder. You are not required to break yourself open just to hold someone else together. Your love is a gift, not a bandage. You are allowed to say, I love you, but I won't carry this alone. And the right person will say, you shouldn't have to. Peace that comes at the cost of your truth isn't peace, it's quiet chaos. It's the slow erosion of your spirit, one unspoken need, one swallowed truth, one nervous smile at a time. Let's talk about what really happens when women silence themselves in relationships just to keep the peace. It usually doesn't happen all at once. It starts small. You don't bring something up because it's not worth the fight. You don't speak your frustration because he's stressed out already. You don't ask for what you need because you don't want to seem needy. You feel the tension in your chest, but you brush it off as sensitivity. You bite your tongue so often that eventually you forget the sound of your own voice. And slowly, without realizing it, you become the peacekeeper. But here's the truth, and it might sting. When you silence your truth to keep someone else comfortable, you're not preserving peace, you're preserving power and balance. You're training your nervous system to believe that your discomfort is a small price to pay for someone else's convenience. That's not love, that's not connection, that's survival. You should never have to compromise your voice to be seen as easy to love. You should never feel like being fully honest will push someone away. Because in a healthy relationship, speaking your truth doesn't destroy peace, it creates it. Let's be really honest. It takes courage to speak up, to say, that hurt me, to say, I'm not okay with that, to say, I need more from you. It takes guts to risk the temporary discomfort of conflict for the long-term integrity of the relationship. But conflict isn't the enemy. Avoidance is, resentment is, performing instead of participating. That's what fractures connection. If your truth can't exist in the relationship, then the relationship doesn't actually see you. It sees a curated, edited version of you that keeps things calm, polite, undisturbed. But you were not born to be agreeable at the expense of your truth. Your voice matters, even when it's messy, even when it trembles, even when you don't have all the perfect words. Because using your voice is not about confrontation, it's about self-respect. And if someone truly loves you, they won't punish you for speaking up. They won't gaslight you into silence. They won't withdraw love to manipulate your words. The right relationship won't demand your silence. It will invite your truth. It will make space for your needs, not make you feel like they're an inconvenience. It will grow stronger through honest conversations, not crumble under the weight of them. So if you're holding your breath around someone just to keep the peace, ask yourself, whose peace are you really protecting? Because your voice is not too loud, your feelings are not too much, your truth is not a threat. And your silence should never be the price of intimacy. So speak, even if your voice shakes, even if your hands tremble, even if you're afraid. Speak, because your peace is not real if it depends on your silence. Let me know if you'd like me to expand Never Stay Where You're Not Growing next. I'm happy to keep going in this flow. Sometimes the hardest thing to admit is that love alone isn't enough. You can care for someone deeply, you can have history, chemistry, shared memories, you can laugh together, sleep beside each other, even say I love you every single day and still be stuck, because love without growth is a kind of quiet suffocation. There's this myth that once you find someone, you're supposed to just stay loyal, stay committed, stay even when you've outgrown the version of yourself that chose them. Stay even when you've started shrinking just to fit into the same story. But here's the truth it takes courage to speak. Staying in a relationship where you're no longer growing is not loyalty, it's self-abandonment. A relationship should be a garden, not a cage. It should challenge you to evolve, not chain you to old patterns. It should be a space where your dreams are spoken out loud and met with encouragement, not eye rolls. Where your boundaries are respected, your voice is heard, and your evolution is celebrated, not tolerated. You are not meant to stay small just to keep someone else comfortable. You are not here to pause your purpose to protect someone else's pride. You don't need to dim your light so they don't feel overshadowed. Growth can be uncomfortable. It can mean setting boundaries. It can mean changing your habits, your mind, your direction. And yes, it can mean outgrowing people who are unwilling or unable to grow with you. But let's be honest, we've been taught that leaving is failure, that staying no matter what makes you strong, that compromising your truth for the sake of making it work is admirable. But here's the deeper truth. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is leave the space where you're wilting. Sometimes the greatest act of self-love is walking away from a relationship that no longer reflects who you're becoming. Ask yourself, am I growing here? Do I feel inspired or depleted? Do I feel expanded or edited? Am I becoming more of myself, or am I holding back just to maintain the status quo? If the answer hurts, that's okay. Pain is part of growth too. But don't confuse familiarity with fulfillment. Don't confuse time spent with progress made. And don't confuse not being alone with being truly seen. The right relationship will not fear your growth.